Reverend Sandy recovered beautifully from her surgery, finally. But at 4 o'clock this morning, she got the stomach flu, and she was planning on being here. So this is going to be extemporaneous speaking on my part. I know the theme, and I know what the idea metaphorically is about surviving storms and fires. And we've been doing that literally with a lot of the rain we're having. But on a conscious level, how do we survive the storms in our life? I guarantee you every individual has storms of some sort or fires that they need to work through. And in this teaching, we learn how to navigate that. And if we listen, if we study, if we do the work and go deep, then we can rise above that storm and understand it at a greater level. Because every storm has a lesson in it. It has a meaning, something to teach us, if we're willing to learn. Too oftentimes, people will wallow in the storm and get stuck. However, in this teaching, we know we have free will and a choice to think of it differently. Reverend Sandy and I got in this teaching around 1980. And we first walked into the religious science church in Redondo Beach, where we were living. And we heard the message and didn't have an aha moment, but we had, oh my God, we're home. Because we had always been thinking like this. We didn't know there was something formal going on with this consciousness. So it was a great opening for us to be with like-minded people, to really go deeper into the teaching and understand what it's all about and how we can apply it in our lives. When we navigate a storm, and I'm going to use a few examples throughout my life of storms, what choices can we make to rise above that and see beyond that? And what can we take from that for a learning experience and apply it in our lives? I heard a saying, and I don't know if I made the saying up or if somebody said it. It was about 30 years ago. I wish I could claim it, but I don't think I made it up, that pain is inevitable. Suffering is an option. So we have a choice when we get in those painful moments how we're going to deal with that. We can make the choice to succumb to it, become a victim, or we can go deep inside and think, okay, what is this teaching me? What can I learn from it? How is this molding and shaping me? Because we are a conglomerate of our life experiences. Those are our credentials. So I think back to when Sandy and I were married, and I was 24. We found out Sandy was pregnant with our first child. Total joy. The next day I found out my mom had cancer. So we navigated this interesting balance in life of some joy and some sadness. Now, I was naive at 24 about thinking my mother would ever pass away from cancer. So I just thought she would live forever. So we waited the whole 9 months, had a beautiful baby girl, and then about 10 days after that, my mother passed from cancer. Fortunately, she got to see her first grandchild. So I had to deal with the loss of a mother at a young age. And my parents had gotten divorced when I was 15. So fortunately or unfortunately, I was a very independent person. And I was able to navigate that with the support of Sandy and friends. But I had a choice of how I could deal with that loss at a young age of a great mother, someone that was very nurturing, supportive, and to me, the epitome of a perfect mother. So I made the conscious choice, saying, okay, what can I learn from this? And I knew, this is purely speaking our teaching, that my mother, she got cancer because of a severe unhappiness and sadness within her. Because we teach that when we have a sadness or some unhappiness or pain, that can create dis-ease within us unless we choose to do something greater with it. And so I knew that of this unhappiness she had. And I know at some level, conscious level, that's why she contracted the disease. And I could sort of sort it out and make sense of it. Not that there wasn't sadness, grief, and the period of time to get through it. But I chose to have a different thinking process on it. We can't control all the circumstances in our life, all the painful things that come our way. What we can control is how we experience it, how we think about it, how we deal with it. We have total control of that. So I know that as we navigate life, the storms and the fires, that we can step through them with greater ease rather than wallow in it and feel the pain forever. Obviously, another great loss was the loss of our first child when she was 15. We were really immersed in this teaching, and we had a great support system, a great understanding, and we were able to move beyond the horrific event, again, dealing with the sadness and grief for many years, but knowing that there was a greater purpose and a greater something for us. Something good has to come from something so painful. And I truly believe that with everything, that there is a purpose and reason for everything that comes our way. And it's our job to step into that knowing, into that experience, and feel it at a deep level and understand it. Now, if Reverend Sandy were here today, she does so much research, and she works with Dr. Jim in creating a beautiful talk. And here I am just muttering things off to you from my life experience, because I truly believe our life experience is what we learn from and what shapes us and molds us. And too many people get stuck in the fear factor. And fear is contagious. We can catch it ourselves from ourselves. We can catch it from other people. We can give it to other people. Optimism is contagious. So let's choose optimism. That makes much more sense. So in this teaching, one thing I wanted to read was this beautiful quote I found. The storms of life rearrange our predictable routines, making everything feel out of control. Okay, that last part is making things feel out of control. Okay, we can change that feeling. Because when we feel like we're out of control, we succumb to doubt, fear, worry, and then we get stuck. So when we step into something greater, and I'm no different than you, you're no different than me, we all have that same capability to step beyond what is right in front of us, that is not serving us. We can make that choice. We are made in that image and likeness of God. We have that strength. We have that resilience. And when we decide to use it at a greater level, then we open up a whole new world for ourselves. So what I'm inviting you to do, each of you to do, is to think, go deep, and look at what things in life are troubling you. And maybe look at past things that were a challenge and think about how you navigated that. If you navigated it greatly, like we've just talked about, like stepping into something greater, apply that to anything else that comes along. Because it's up to us. We co-create with God. We have that ability to really make a difference. And as we make a difference in our lives, we make a difference in the lives of people around us. So when Sandy this morning told me she would not be able to go, I said, okay, well, let me get in the shower and kind of mull this around to see what I said, well, I could have Harold do an hour of music, which is not a bad idea. But you know what? This was a minor storm for me. I said, okay, I need to rise to the occasion. I've spoken periodically over the years, but I've always had notes. And I've always wanted to do it extemporaneously because I don't like having to use notes. To me, that's distracting, and I know the idea, the concept I want to convey. So as I can go deeper into that and my experience throughout my life and how to navigate that, I'm hopefully passing that on to people. Wow, because everybody can do it. I'm no different. I've just done a lot of study and a lot of practice over the years. And we all have the tools here. We have the tools of meditation. We have the tools of silence. We have the tools of mantras, whatever it might be, positive affirmations. They all work. But you've got to honor and respect yourself enough to commit to it and take the time to let that unfold. One thing I want to read here that this is actually one from Reverend Sandy's talk. I read through it, not that I used any of it, but this I loved. So I want to share this with you. Difficult situations in life require us to navigate through them to better times. When someone weathers the storm, they deal with the difficult situation and come out the other side, bringing with them greater perspective, understanding, and faith. The storm often teaches us important lessons rather than just being a disturbance. When you weather the storm, you can learn to handle complex problems or periods better and still come out strong. That is the strength. So if nothing else, let's just know that optimism is contagious. Keep that at the forefront of your mind. We're all one in this. We're all unified in this teaching. And we know better. And when we know better, we do better. So I thank you. I'm going to close with a prayer. Then we have our healing wall, which I'll invite Tammy up. So please join me in a prayer. Just knowing that in this moment, where we stand, where we are, God is. God is the driving force within us, around us, and through us. And we all have that strength, that tenacity, that knowing that our consciousness is powerful, that our intention is powerful, that we can master anything as long as we put our mind to it. And we come here today to remind ourselves of that truth. I remind myself, I remind you, we remind each other. And we feel that support, that love, that unity as we come together in this knowing. I give great thanks that this is so as it has been spoken. And together we say, and so it is.